Hi there, good afternoon. You've tuned into ET now, and this is Market Fatafat with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Vinny Motiwala. Very good afternoon to you, Vinny. And Vinny, not turning out to be a great afternoon when it comes to the benchmark indices. We are actually in the negative territory, and benchmarks were in the negative territory since the word go. Nifty Bank also now has slipped in the negative territory.
Absolutely. We've seen that fall coming in just half an hour back when we saw the Nifty also see a sharp fall coming in as well. A furthermore fall, not a sharp fall, but a furthermore fall that actually came into the Nifty 50 as well. And overall, the markets, look at it as of now as well. Nifty is trading at 19,336 with cuts of around 0.6% in trade. Even the Sensex trading in the red and seeing a decline of around 0.7% in trade. Let's look at what, the Nifty Bank is doing. And Nifty Bank too is trading in the red as well with cuts of almost 0.4% in trade at the day's lowest point as of now as well. Moving on, talking about the broader markets, that's doing quite well in trade, whether the Nifty mid cap or the Nifty small cap, that's holding on to gains. So Nifty mid cap is holding on to gains of around 0.2% in trade, while the Nifty small cap is holding on to gain of around 0.2% in trade as well. Advance decline ratio more in the favor of the advances than in the favor of decline. So let's keep an eye out on that one. What's not doing well is the Nifty energy space. That's down and out in trade. We have seen Nifty FMCG, that's down 0.8% in trade, while Nifty IT too is a laggard in trade as well. So let's keep an eye out on all these sector-wise moves as well. Today, when you look at Reliance also, that has also seen a fall coming in as well. And that is what is leading, when a heavyweight is falling, that also leads to a decline coming in the market as well. You can look at Reliance as of now as well, down almost 1.4% in trade as well. Looking at the other names that we have in terms of the movers coming in for the Nifty 50 today in trade, let's look at the top losers. We have ITC, Power Grid, LTI Mindtree as well as DV's Lab, which is among the top Nifty 50 losers in trade, while among the gainers we have Adani Ports, Titan, Bajaj Auto and Adani Enterprises holding on to some bit of a gains there in the Nifty 50. But overall, it's going to be interesting to see, Cheryl, that how these stocks actually move by the end of the day. We have a couple of hours still to go in trade, and that'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of hours as well.
All right, so that is the way how the markets are set up right now. But let's bring on board our list of researchers as well as technical analysts who will take us through all the stocks that are moving in trade. On the technical front, we have Kunal Bothra joining us on the show, while on the research front, we have Amakshi as well as Ankita. A very good afternoon to all three of you, and thank you for being part of Market Fatafat. Let me go on with the first stock that we are focusing in today's trading session, and that particular stock is IRFC, that's Indian Railway Finance Corporation. And this particular counter actually was in news in yesterday's trading session as well. Towards the market close, you had a news piece that actually came out on the wire agency, which said the government will look to actually go ahead and offload about 11% stake in IRFC. So on back of that, you have IRFC that is in focus in today's trading session. Remember, the stock is seeing a sharp knock. This after the government said that they are going to go ahead and divest about 11% stake in the company. This is all as per sources. And remember, the stock has already seen a huge run up in YTD basis. If you look at the stock, or if you look at the stock price, it's actually seen a sharp rally of approximately about 100% or so. Suppose that looks like the government was trying to cash in on some gains, looking to actually go ahead for a stake sale, and that's the reason why this one is in focus in today's trading session.
Okay, that is IRFC for y'all. But let's also talk about Lupin, and why is Lupin in focus? We're seeing actually a bit of a fall coming in Lupin versus what we've seen in terms of the news flow. Yes, that already got an approval for titotropium bromide, which is coming in as well. Now they have finally launched the product as well, and on the back of this, we're seeing that Lupin is actually in focus. Yes, some bit of a profit booking that we're seeing coming in the stock price. But today the stock is down 1.4%, even though we've seen a launch coming in from the company. Okay, let's move on and also go across to Kunal for his first stock as well. And Kunal, Hudco is the first stock that you've picked out for us. And what is it that is making you look, in terms of the charts, so interesting to pick out Hudco? I've not seen this coming in on your list in any recent times. It's already seen a 53% return. So what should we be expecting now?
Yeah, 36% YTD returns for Hudco, and I think more importantly, the stock is at a 5-year high. I think if I'm not wrong, 2018 is the breakout of the previous the year when the stock was at 70 plus levels, and it's managed to break past about those levels this time around. So there seems to be a very strong uptrend for Hudco from the previous lows. In fact, the lows from the March end for Hudco was around 40 odd levels, So the stock has given returns of in excess of 70% to 80% in just the last 4 to 5 months. This is an excellent price trend for Hudco, confirming a swing breakout more on the monthly charts. Volumes have been very steady for the stock. Momentum oscillators have been on the positive side for the stock price. And I think most importantly, from that March 2023 low of 40 odd levels for Hudco, post that the stock has not even breached below its 200-day moving average once. That itself tells you that the stock price trend has been extremely bullish on Hudco. So looks to be an interesting chart and indicates that this could be a strong continuation of multi-month, multi-quarter uptrend for the stock.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock, and Vamakshi, that's the first stock you picked up for us is REC. I believe we have some con call highlights coming in from REC. What is it? Because look at the stock move also. Since morning we've just seen an uptrend coming in today. Right now it's trading with gains of 4.5%. What were these highlights?
Well, yes, Vinny, the stock is definitely gaining momentum in the trading session today, perched near its all-time high, and in fact that has come in after the company has come out with a lot of positive commentary in its con call. They have highlighted that the loan book at the end of the quarter saw growth of almost 17% on a year-on-year basis. Disbursements have marked a very sharp improvement of almost 174% in the first quarter. In fact, they also highlighted that they are intending to increase their share of renewable energy to at least 30% of their total loan portfolio from nearly $3.6 billion currently to $45 billion. They've also added on the asset quality front that they have not added any new NPAs for the last 6 quarters, and in fact, they're targeting to become a net zero NPA company by the end of 2025. Now, this is a very important factor out here that the company has highlighted, and that is definitely a big positive for this counter. Other than that, they've also highlighted that they're expecting their NIMs to be 3.5% for FY24. They're expecting an improvement. It was at around 3.3%, and in fact, the yields are also expected to be in the range of 9.5% to 9.8%. So all in all, a positive set of commentary coming in from REC, and that is the reason why this stock is a buzz in the trading session today.
That's the reason why REC is in focus in today's trading session. But Ankita, moving to you, Adani Power, this was in focus yesterday, it's in focus today. And what's the additional information that you have for our viewers today?
Well, yes, Cheryl, Adani GQG Partners has invested $1.1 billion in Adani Power by buying 8.1% stake from Adani family by multiple block deals. Now, with this investment, GQG Partners has brought 34,000 crores worth of Adani shares since the month of March this year. Now, interestingly, this move comes, right after days after Qatar Investment Authority picked up some 2.7% stake in Adani Green Energy as well. Also, Goldman Sachs Trust, Goldman Sachs GQG Partner International Opportunities has picked up 1,000 lakh shares for 279 at 279, and Worldwide Emerging Markets has also sold 465 lakh shares at 279. So multiple block deals coming in on that counter, and on the back of that we see an uptick of 1.2% in the counter.
Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock on the technicals. And Kunal, J&K Bank, what an up move that the stock has seen in the last 6 months as well. 70% return in the last 6 months from 48 to today trading at 85. What should we be expecting in terms of now the stock move? Would you still say it's the right time to buy J&K Bank?
Well, in fact, the reason for flagging of J&K Bank is in the morning itself I had flagged off the stock on Chartbusters, and the stock was I think at 81 odd levels, 81 levels. And so, the stock was already confirming a breakout on the swing charts, and there were multiple time frame breakouts for J&K Bank, a stock which we don't discuss in the same breath as compared to many of the other mid-cap, banking names. Now, apparently, the stock has given a swing breakout on the weekly and monthly charts, as well as breaking past about the 2022 highs or the end of 2022 highs for J&K Bank. So I think those decisive breakouts have led into a very strong uptick for the stock price. I believe today's momentum and the move for J&K Bank is just the beginning of a fresh new trend, which could probably engulf the stock over the next many quarters as well as many years. So I would be very bullish on the stock over the medium to long term prospect and would recommend a buy on dips for J&K Bank.
So that's the view coming in from Kunal on J&K Bank, where we spoke to Nilesh Shah of Envision Capital earlier in the day, who believes that small banks as well as fintechs have the capability to grow at twice the rate of that of the top banks. Listen to his views on the banking space and what else is he liking.
like the top 3-4 IT companies, I think similarly the top 3-4 banking companies will probably grow in double digits. So obviously that growth rate is better versus the top IT companies, but I still think probably they'll grow at about maybe 15% plus minus 2-3%. I think versus that we will see a lot of smaller banks or specialized lenders or maybe some of the fintechs itself who can grow at a much higher pace, who could potentially grow at twice the rate of any large bank. And I think therefore still there, I think one should look out for some of the emerging names out there. Some of them have IPO'd themselves recently, some of them have IPO'd over the last 2-3 years. But that's again a very interesting space. One is, of course, apart from all of this what you mentioned, I think the credit cost is, I think, very important. Your ability to price your loans well, price your risk well, I mean to know risk well, price it well and monitor it well, I think is the defining feature of any banking business or any lending business. I think any bank who gets that right, irrespective of the size, will be a winner. So I don't know what will happen maybe 5 years later or 10 years later, but at least for the next 2-3 years, a lot of the smaller and specialized players in the banking and lending and credit space will probably do much better than the very large and the very obvious names.
Let's move on and talk about Ahluwalia contracts and why is this one in focus today. We have a note that has come in from Avendus Spark, and they have actually downgraded the stock to an add from a previous 5 rating due to the lack of upside triggers that they see for the stock in the near term, and the target price also is something that they are looking at. Even they are factoring in the earnings in the CAGR over 25% over FY23 to FY25, and the potential slowdown in order inflows is something that is keeping a concern for them in terms of the stock for Ahluwalia contracts as well as the upcoming general elections. Now they're also mentioning that given that the order backlog of rupees 12,000 crores and strong order inflow, the company's execution is likely to witness a growth. But as of now, they are concerned in terms of the upside that they see, upside potential that they see for Ahluwalia contractors, and that is why today we're seeing that pressure is coming in on the stock and it's down 2.4% as of now.
All right, let's put the spotlight on JSW Energy. After 5 days of rally, JSW Energy has hit the pause button. 26.55% uptick is what JSW Energy logged in the 5-day rally that it saw. We know that there was a block deal in this particular counter. We know that one of the block deals was picked up by GQG, as well as yesterday there was a block deal of approximately 1.28% stake. That also indeed the part of the block deal was picked up by GQG, but it was picked up by GQG's emerging market equity fund. Also, apart from that, what's actually spooking also is the fact that the stake sale was done by JSW Investment, which is the top shareholder in JSW Energy. Maybe that's one of the reasons why JSW Energy has taken a pause today. You're seeing some sort of profit booking coming in this particular counter. This after 5 days of rally where it saw an uptick of as much as 26%.
Let's move on and talk about the next one, and that is UltraTech Cement. Kunal, on the charts, what is UltraTech Cement now indicating? Should we expect an upside, or maybe it's time to just book out some bit of a profit here?
Yesterday the stock was up some 2.5% from 8,050 to I think 80 to 50 where the stock closed yesterday. Today the stock is down 0.5% to 1% approximately. More importantly, I think after yesterday's up move of 2.5%, the stock has not retraced 50%. And generally we say that if a stock doesn't retrace 50% of the gains which it has achieved on such a kind of a breakout day, we expect that the stock price trends start to become a lot more bullish. So I believe that today's dip or this correction of 0.5% to 1% for UltraTech Cement should be a good strategy to be bought into. And I would expect that if the stock gets into a turnaround phase or gets into a recovery phase, I would believe 8,350 to 8,450 could be a nominal target from a short-term play for UltraTech Cement.
All right, that's the view coming on UltraTech Cement. But Vamakshi, you have these shipbuilders that are in focus in today's trading session. Once again, Cochin Shipyard and Garden Reach. Why is that?
Well, yes, Cheryl, when we look at both these counters, in fact, they're perched at their all-time high levels. Both these counters are soaring in the trading session today, and that is because of a couple of factors. First one being a strong set of numbers is what both these companies had reported just this week itself, and ever since we've seen both these counters gain in trade Other than that, there's also another trigger that is coming in. Germany, Spain are in contest for nearly 4.8 billion Indian submarine deal. In fact, Indian officials are currently evaluating competing bids in order to build 6 of the vessels in India itself. So all in all, that is another positive trigger for these counters, and that is the reason why both of these stocks are in focus today. As of now, Cochin Shipyard is holding very strongly in the green in an otherwise weak market, up nearly 10%, while Garden Reach is up nearly 2.5%.
All right, so that is Garden Reach for you. But next up, looks like Kunal, Colgate Palmolive is a counter that you're going to talk to us about.
Well, yes, and even though the FMCG index is showing a lot of underperformance currently, but I think Colgate is something which has managed to stand out quite strong. The stock is very close towards its previous major highs of 2050, 2100 for Colgate. The stock is comfortably above its 50 moving average and 200 moving average. So more of an exceptional chart as compared to most of the other FMCG stocks. I think even at current levels of 2000 approximately, looks attractive for a swing trade of another 100 points to 150 points on the very short term.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is IIFL Securities. And Ankita, why is IIFL Securities in focus today? What is the news flow surrounding this one today? The stock is trading with gains of 5% as of now.
That's correct, Vinny. Some strong gains coming in on this counter. It is on the back of a couple of block deals that took place for this particular stock. Hamlin Watsa Investment Council has sold 1.2 crore shares or 3.9% stake in IIFL Securities in a block deal. Now, Team Lease India Master Fund Limited bought 80 lakh shares at 65.45 rupees per share, and Zafar Ahmadullah bought 40 lakh shares at 65.45 rupees per share. And on the back of this, we are seeing this uptick coming in the share. It's up almost 5% in trade today.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Ramkrishna Forgings or RK Forgings. The stock is trading at a 52-week high. At least the last time I checked, it was trading there. And this is on the back of a contract win that they have of around 145 crores. Now, the company has been awarded this contract, and it is valued in terms of euros. It's 16 million euros, and in rupees, it's 145 crore rupees. This is under a 4-year agreement, and now this is the company is also, do not forget, just a couple of days back, they'd received another order also, which was around $13.65 million with 107 crore rupees. So back to back, we've seen order wins coming in for RK Forgings as well. And on the back of yesterday's order win, which we saw coming in today, also the stock is in focus and it's up for almost 3%.
All right, next up, let's talk about Shriram Finance, and this particular counter is buzzing in today's trading session. You have UBS that's come out with a note where they've initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating, and our target price set at around 2,185 rupees per share. What UBS is saying, they like Shriram Finance's changed narrative. They're saying it's a leader in the organized high-yield used CV financing as well as in two-wheeler segment. They're also mentioning the fact that the market is underappreciating the EPS growth potential that Shriram Finance has, and also they're expecting 15.4% CAGR over the next FY23 to 30 for Shriram Finance. So a thumbs up coming in from UBS on Shriram Finance, initiated coverage with a buy rating, targets at 2,185, and Shriram Finance right now seeing good uptick, at least holding on to gains of approximately 2% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on to stock number 15, and that is Piramal Enterprises. Kunal, this one has surely seen a good recovery in terms of the last 6 months, because from around those 630 levels, I think we've seen and recorded the recovery. It's about the 1,000 level mark as of now as well. What is Piramal Enterprises in terms of charts now indicating?
So I think it's a classical breakout chart for Piramal Enterprise. So, I think I had flagged out the stock closer to 850, 860 levels. Post that, there was a dividend of, I think, 31 rupees for the stock price, and then it's moved higher to almost 1100 mark for Piramal Enterprise. I would believe that what transpired on the daily charts is now engulfing on the weekly charts for Piramal Enterprise. The stock is nearing a technical breakout pattern, that's an Ichimoku pattern breakout on the weekly time frame, and this could augur significantly well for Piramal Enterprise over the medium to long term. So what started off as being a short-term uptrend or a short-term swing breakout has engulfed itself into a positive breakouts on the weekly charts and should augur very well for Piramal Enterprise. If this Ichimoku pattern breakout gets successful for the stock, we could be expecting the stock to even rise up to 1350 to 1400 in a matter of 6 to 8 months or so. For Piramal Enterprise, extremely bullish stance.
All right, that's Piramal Enterprises, but paper stocks, Vamakshi, why are they a buzz in today's trading session?
Cheryl, all these stocks are gaining in momentum in the trading session today, and that is on the back of a channel check that was conducted. And in fact, the channel check has highlighted that the demand for the packaging segment is appearing to be quite robust. Other than that, the pre-orders for festive season are also expected to start soon. So definitely, things are looking positive on the demand side. Other than that, sustained demand for paper is seen increasing as the work from home environment that we were in seems to be losing steam. When we look at the pricing, definitely there has been no substantial price hike yet, but the paper and pulp prices have started moving higher. They have risen almost 5 to 6% on a month-on-month basis, and in fact are expected to rise further in the coming weeks. So all in all, that is the news flow surrounding paper stocks, and as of now you can see all these paper counters surging in trade today. Look at Satya Industries, that is up nearly 4.6%. West Coast Paper is also trading nearly 5% higher, along with JK Paper.
Let's move on and talk about Sona BLW. And Kunal, how are the charts looking for this one? Last 6 months, almost a 23% return, but specifically in the last 1 month has not done too much. So now, is it still time to buy this one?
You know, from the last 4 or 5 months low, March lows to be precise, the stock was almost at 400 rupees. It moved up to 600 just about, I think, a week or two back, and has now corrected back towards 560 mark. So which means that the stock has come back towards a good retracement support for itself. It's also coinciding with the 50-day moving average for Sona Comstar. I think that's the more outstanding part for the stock price, because over the last 4-5 months we've seen that the stock has this tendency of correcting closer to its 50-day moving average, taking a pause at those levels and then rising up and breaking past about the previous swing highs. So here the risk reward for initiating a buy looks all the more attractive for a potential target of 600 plus for Sona Comstar over the near term.
Alright, that's Sona Comstar for you. But Ankita, let's talk about Indigo or Interglobe Aviation. Why is this one in the spotlight today?
Yes, Cheryl. Well, we did see that Indigo's promoter Shobha Gangwal on Wednesday sold nearly 2.9% stake in the company for a little over 2,800 crores through open market transaction, and this was done via 3 major block deals. But today we have this news coming in that DGCA, that's the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, has approved flights for Indigo to Tashkent. This means that the airlines has been permitted to start service anytime from the month of September 6th onwards. Now, Indigo will be operating 4 weekly non-stop flights between Delhi and Tashkent, and this will mark the airline's 31st international destination. And on the back of that, this stock is going to be in focus today.
Alright, so that's the reason why Indigo is in the spotlight. Yes, we are yet to get the names of the buyers of that big block deal. But on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. Stay tuned. When we come by, we'll talk about more stocks that you should keep on your radar. Don't go anywhere.
What is happening to